All right, I've been starting to get into investing personally, which is weird because I've technically been a professional investor for nearly 8 years. Anyways, I've been thinking a lot about my investing philosophy, which I'm sure will come to light here over time. But for today, I wanted to talk about one of the main lenses by which I want to choose sectors to invest in. Ready? Let's go.
Wouldn't it be?
Okay, so on these podcasts, I'm going to start with a little thing called Kids Corner. Inspired by Bill Simmons' podcast, it's where I tell you a short, funny story about my kids. In fact, to make this segment more marketable, I've hired professional voice actors to produce and act out the parts, so you're in for a treat.
Welcome to Kids Corner.
Now, in this week's episode, I give my Gatorade to my 2-year-old on the couch for a sip. I know, that was my mistake. You already know how this story ends. But in my defense, there was barely any left, so I figured she had a good chance getting the last little bit out without a disaster. And I tell her to be careful and not to spill. In fact, I make sure to emphasize this point. Anyways, no sooner does she take her first sip than I hear,
Uh-oh.
"Ugh, I told you not to spill. What happened?"
I only wanted 3 sips, but they need 5 sips.
You're telling me you were trying to get 3 sips, but it gave you 5 sips, and that's why you spilled?
Yes.
All right, well, that was this week's Kids Corner. As I said, today I wanted to talk about one of the main lenses by which I want to choose sectors to invest in. I'm investing with a long-term mindset. I'm not eager to make money now. I'm eager to make money and affect change over longer timescales. That's a lucky, privileged place to be, but that's where I'm at. So with a long-term mindset, I think there's one place that can provide incredible clues to the sectors to invest in to generate the best long-term returns. The children of the wealthy and powerful. Let me first explain why, and then I'll talk through some examples, both from the past and the present. Why do I say this? Let's say I want this money to be invested over a 30-year horizon. So really what I care about is a compounding on a 30-year time horizon, not a 1-year horizon, not a 5-year horizon. I'm looking really long run. So if you want to make decisions on what's going to matter on a 30-year time horizon, look at the 10-year-olds, the 15-year-olds. They're going to be the ones in power by then. But which ones? Well, who better than the children of the wealthy and powerful? Transferring wealth through generations is undefeated as a tactic. In fact, I would guess it's the best predictive variable for a child's future assets is to look at his or her parents' assets now. I mean, we already know some things. We don't know how causal the link is, but we know future income of children tends to associate very strongly with parents' income. That's not surprising, but that doesn't even include the massive transfer of wealth that happens from parents to children. I'm not just talking about money. The ways in which wealth and power are passed on to children through time, resources, a safety net, and actual gobs of money is really hard to overstate. So why does that matter? That means one of the best predictors of who will control the flow of capital is to look at the children of those who control capital today. And what will they be investing in? Where will money be flowing? To me, that seems obvious, into the areas that interest them. Hindsight is 20/20, but I'm still going to start with some past examples to illustrate my point. It was the year 2000. I was attending a private school in Michigan that became one of the first schools in the country to mandate that all children have a laptop. These were still the days of dial-up connections, but if you could have seen it, the kids in this school, including me, immediately took to this technology like fish to water. Kids naturally gravitated to these computers, which still felt less natural to an older generation. If I could give my parents or their generation advice in the year 2000, I'd say invest in everything related to the software revolution. The dot-com bust still hadn't happened at that time, and that scared off a bunch of people. But if you had been watching the children of the wealthy, you would know that that was just a blip on an inevitable path towards software eating the world. Or another example, the kids growing up in the 1990s. They watched Michael Jordan, the biggest superstar in all of athletics. Is it surprising that this interest in technology and basketball has converged in something like NBA Top Shot, which generated over $200 million in sales in February alone? Look, this is just a hypothesis, and maybe there are tons of examples that go against this. But if you think there might be something to this, what would it predict for the future now? What do I want to invest in looking through this lens? Well, I'm going to be diving into a few areas in much greater depth, but let me talk about them at a high level right now. 1, the creator economy. Survey the kids of today, and the most popular answer to what do you want to be when you grow up is a YouTuber. Look at rich kids, and you see a disproportionate number of them investing their parents' resources into building their own personal online brand and influencer community. The creator economy is here to stay, and it will only grow further in the coming decades. Rich kids more than ever are trying to become amateur filmmakers and creators, and those that aren't successful are going to use their resources to invest in that ecosystem, want to work for companies in that ecosystem. I think that means the entire creator economy is a wave that's built to last. 2nd, the metaverse. What the heck is the metaverse? I'll link to a good explainer article, but basically it's these gaming platforms that are more like virtual worlds to transact and create in than they are traditional games. Fortnite and Roblox are 2 of the most prominent examples, which, if you're not aware of them, ask pretty much any kid. Other sectors, I think space is really getting rejuvenated thanks to Elon Musk, SpaceX, the mission to Mars. I think that bodes well for the long-term prospects of the space industry. I think psychology, mental health, wellness are obvious sectors as rich kids get introduced to these spaces and see the benefits within them firsthand. Look, I know the obvious pushback. These are already hot and growing sectors today. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. You're literally just pointing to the hottest sectors and then saying rich kids are into them. Isn't this just circular logic? That's a fair point. So let me also try to describe some of the sectors today that I don't want to invest in because rich kids aren't that into them. Here are a few examples. Sports. I think sports is still riding high from the wave of kids in my generation that are now adults and controlling capital. But I think the kids of this generation look to influencers as the biggest stars of today, not athletes. So in the long term, I'm long creator economy, short sports. Another example, traditional higher education. Beyond the elite brands, I think higher education holds way less value to the wealthy youth of today. They know there are way more ways to build signaling value in your resume, and they have the resources to access them. I mean, I talked about one of these ways in my episode on Deck. I'm not saying this is the only way to look at things. I'm just saying, if you happen to observe a trend among rich kids, think about whether that might say something about where they're going to invest money once they control it. Because they will likely eventually control it. And with their money, they will shape the world, for better or worse. In fact, that kind of makes me think, wouldn't it be awesome if this generation of children were the best one yet? Who knows, maybe they are. It's too early to tell, jury's still out. On one side, kind of seems like they're more self-absorbed and privileged than ever. On the other side, they do seem to be a generation pushing for change, who are unafraid to speak out, who are considering more radical solutions than ever before. I don't know, but I do like to think about how awesome it would be if the kids growing up today were the best generation yet. But that's a conversation for a different time. Anyways, I'm going to be going a lot deeper, especially on the creator economy. In fact, this podcast might just turn into Kids Corner plus an analysis of a TikTok video. I'll give you a little mini version of what I might be doing in future podcasts. I'm going to play this video from TikTok creator Niam Adkins. I'll link to her TikTok profile below.
Something that I would happily use every single one of my birthday wishes, shooting star wishes, any wish I ever have on if I knew it would come true. I really wish that more people would feel okay doing stuff for fun and not feeling like they have to be good at it. Like, I know I'm not a good dancer, but the only reason I know I'm not a good dancer is because every time I have danced in front of people, someone has told me that I am not a good dancer, and that fucking sucks, because I have fun dancing. It feels really good. I have the time of my life doing it. But now every time I go to do it, there's that voice in my head that goes, you're not good at this and you shouldn't be doing this. And I kind of hate that that's the world that we live in, and I hate that you see a lot of it on this app. Like, anytime someone tries to do something, even if it's just for fun, there's always someone there to tell them that they're not good at it. And I really wish we could separate the need to be good at stuff from just purely enjoying it. That's my wish.
Man, that's my wish too. Wouldn't it be awesome if that wish came true? I just really agreed with this point. I'm having fun doing this. I doubt I'm good at it, but I'm trying to normalize doing something fun and interesting to me. So thanks a lot for listening. I don't need to hear if it's not good. But if you do find something that sparks any thought, feel free to reach out, as I'd love to explore any of these ideas further. Thanks.
Wouldn't it be?
What is Kids Corner?
It's a house of lots of kids.
Okay.
There's lots of toys, and it's really fun there, and it has like lots of tunnels and lots of balloons, lots of colors,
What else?
and it's a place when their mom and dad are on vacations. Their mom and dad first take them there, and they get distracted, and then their mom and dad leave for the vacation.
Holy
They-
cow!
if
They
they-
just leave them there? They get them distracted and then they leave the kids in the corner there?
Yeah, there's a nanny there.
Oh, there's a nanny there, so it's okay.